We're gonna go through a couple things up front, and then we're gonna get the whole crew here and go through things in more detail. Mayor Mahoney's up here with us. He represents, actually he's wearing two hats today. One is that he is the head of the Diversion Authority, or the chairman, I guess. And the other is the Lake Agassiz Water District. So he's kind of wearing both. So he'll make some comments. And of course, Dwayne DeCray is all, I got a good buddy named Warren. Dwayne DeCray is with Garrison Conservancy District. So I'm going to talk a little bit from that perspective. And you all know, of course, Jason with the Diversion Authority here as well. And then we've got some of our other mayors. We've got Shelley and Bernie and the others, and really the whole crew, both on the diversion side and on the Eastern Water Project side as well. So, and we're going to talk about both today, and that's why I'm going to use two charts. But I'm actually going to use this one first, and then the second one, because I think it'll help explain it. There's a lot going on here, but it's a big deal. This is something we've been working on for many years. Many years, right, Dwayne? It's been 55. Okay, 55. That's why Dwayne is here. Because young guys like me and the mayor, 50, I don't know, we're so young, but no, really, 55 years. That's, we got another mayor out there, Boshinsky. All right, up north. And this will affect Grand Forks, too. Got a good hockey team this year, don't you? Thanks for being here. And to all of you, you've all been part of it. I mean, I guess that's the point. Everybody in this room has been a huge part of it, and that's why we want you all here to go through it in some detail. And it's kind of like an alpha and omega deal. That, in a way, we're kind of wrapping up one program, certainly in terms of the federal funding and the federal resources that we're bringing to the equation on the diversion side, but we're really getting another one going, which is NDAWS, the Eastern North Dakota Alternate Water Supply Project, which is, as Dwayne just said, it's 55 years in the making, so pretty cool. But here's where I'm going to start. But between these two projects, based on what we've been able to get done in legislation and what we're going to be talking about today, is we're going to save North Dakota taxpayers over $300 million. $300 million. That's why I want to go through it in some detail. But between legislation that we were able to pass in the Energy and Water Appropriations Bill this year, which has been passed now, we were able to, with the Diversion Authority, save somewhere between $100 and $120 million in terms of the local cost share. So that's savings for our taxpayers. And then with NDAWS, we're going to save over $200 million because we're able to actually use federal infrastructure that has already been constructed, and I'm going to go through that as well. And that's the upfront savings. That's $300 million that we save our North Dakota taxpayers up front, okay? And then there's annual savings as well in terms of the operating costs. So that's what this chart shows you. I don't know how well you all can see it, but I hope you can, and if not, come on up later and take a look. But that's what we're getting at it. $300 million in construction cost savings, flat out up front, we save, okay? And because of the way we've done it, it actually doesn't cost the federal government more because of the innovative, creative way we're doing stuff, and because we're using existing federal infrastructure that looked like it was going to be stranded, but it will not. So let's go through that for just a minute. $300 million. Okay, first, as I said, $100 to $120 million that we will provide for the Diversion Authority to reduce the local cost share. Okay, where did that come from? Well, as we all know, we've got this innovative, amazing public-private partnership, first of its kind in the country. First of its kind in the country. And we secured $750 million, all of the federal funding, up front. The combination of those two things enabled the Corps of Engineers to complete ahead of schedule and under budget. So there's savings. They're not going to spend the full $750 million on the Corps' share. The savings will be somewhere between, on the bottom end, $100 million to maybe as much as 120 million. Even still, we couldn't get that money under the agreement until 2031. And obviously, if it had taken them that long to build it, they'd have spent all that money and more. So this is real savings because, again, it's the PPP. They could go to work, and we funded them up front. So they built it faster and cost less. That's just how it works. We all know that in the construction world. So now, under the legislation that we included in the energy and water bill, we will negotiate to get that money this year, and the negotiation is the exact final figure, and that's really just driven by what it takes the Corps to button up. So I'm hoping it's 120 million, but it's going to be at least 100 million, okay? So that's the 100 million savings on the Red River Valley flood protection side. And that's 100 million that goes to the, like I said, to the local cost share that now our North Dakota taxpayers will not have to pay. Okay, so that's the 100 million. Now let's go to NDOS. So again, NDOS is the Eastern North Dakota Alternate Water Supply Project. That will supply not just to Fargo, not just to Mayor Boshinsky's favorite city, Grand Forks, but to 30 communities in eastern North Dakota and counting. I think, Bernie, it's 30 now, but it's going to be more as the Lake Agassiz and the other water districts continue to work. So, and this is large and small communities in eastern North Dakota. So it covers a lot of folks. But we're going to save $200 million there because we're going to use the McCluskey Canal. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But it's not just the upfront savings of $200 million. We're also then going to save $4 million a year by using existing infrastructure because we got a shorter route and we use gravity flow. We don't have to pump the water from the Missouri River all the way over here because we're using the McCluskey Canal. So that's our second chart. Isn't it great where my staff does these charts that I can kind of stay on track? I think they weren't gonna, and they thought, well, you know, he'll probably forget something, he'll get off track and all this happy stuff, so we'll do some nifty charts for him and he'll have to follow the charts. But it actually works really great because I can show it to you graphically. So, because we were stuck, as you know, 55 years on getting water from the Missouri River to eastern North Dakota for a whole variety of reasons, which I won't go into, this yellow line, which represents the McCluskey Canal, and if you've ever seen it, it's beautiful. It's a work of art. It's this big, beautiful canal with the water in it, and you got the ducks flying around there and the pheasants coming off. It's beautiful, and it's in great condition. You got to go see it. But the important point, it goes from Lake Audubon, so there you've got the Snake Creek pumping plant that puts water in Lake Audubon from the Lakes Kakawea, right? And then you've got this canal that starts over here at Lake Audubon and comes all this distance all the way over here in the McCluskey area, right? Okay. We're saying 200 million. If you had to build that stuff today, it'd be way more. But the important point is this. By using the canal, which was always intended to be used, okay, which we now have the authority to do, we don't have to build this pipeline. And to build that pipeline would cost conservatively $200 million because we get to use it. And with the shorter distance, because now we're starting here rather than here, you're going a shorter distance, and with the canal, you got gravity flow. Now, if we hadn't got the ability to go ahead, it's taken a lot of work, right? This would have been wasted. I mean, it's a nice canal over there. It's great for wildlife, but we couldn't have used it for its intended purpose, which was always to get water to eastern North Dakota. But we were blocked. We were blocked for a whole variety of reasons. Tammy Norgard, where are you, Tammy? She is actually one, I don't know how many years ago, that sat me down because I talked to Dwayne about it, and I'm kind of slow, and he kind of explained it to me, and he'd get tired of explaining it. I said, well, I just don't quite get how this is all going to work. And Tammy was, you know, probably more patient. Anyway, but seriously, she and others came up with this concept, and it's taken a few years to execute. It's been at least a couple of years since we sat down and talked about it. But that's the difference. So by using the McCluskey Canal, and we've got $50 million now to start building, and there'll be a water water plant here, McCluskey Canal intake, biota water treatment plant. So again, we do the water treatment, which will be federally funded, and then we build this pipeline, okay? And then that's just a, the outflow facility. Then this is the state's and local share obligation in the green. So flat out, yeah, we got 50 million. We're going to be doing construction, and I'll touch on that more. There's another aspect to that. But the point is, we have already saved 200 million because this would have been stranded infrastructure. We'd have been starting back here and building a whole new pipeline. And that's where the 4 million comes in, because you have to pump all this. Now you're going upflow, or up, elevation, and you're going a lot further, another 40 miles. And so it's a no-brainer. Now, that's good for the federal government. That's good for the federal taxpayers of this country, and it's good for us. It's common sense, right? It's flat-out common sense. But between getting the environmental impact statement done and then actually getting the legislation to do it, it's been a major undertaking. And like I say, actually, that was conceptualized. It started 55 years ago. And when was the McCluskey Canal built? Do you remember, Dwayne? 70s. 70s. It's been sitting there since the 70s. Here's the other thing. So we've got $50 million to begin this work as well. And then the other thing is in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Has anybody heard of that? One Big Beautiful Bill. Or I guess now it's the Working Families Tax Reduction Act. Or as Mon Capitan calls it, OB3, kind of a Star Wars reference because he's kind of a hip dude. We included language and funding. There's $1 billion in that bill that can go for water projects like what we're working on here. Now, there's a lot of folks chasing those dollars, but we put language in there to make sure our project qualifies, and we're working with Interior to get funding in additional to the 50 million we already got. So we're already, and I hope to have something maybe even as soon as February in terms of, where we're at with the dollar figure there. But we intend to have more to the 50 million even already this year, and then we'll continue to work to appropriate it to it. And the state has appropriated a couple hundred so far for the project.
Absolutely, we're up to about 450.
Yeah, so the state's hard at work. They got a little longer stretch to build, so. So we'll continue. We've got this 50, and then I think we'll hopefully be out here in February announcing some more that we get through the One Big Beautiful Bill. Okay, I might have forgot something, but I'll think about that while we listen to the head of the Diversion Authority and Lake Agassiz water users, Mayor Mahoney.
On time, ahead of budget, and more than we expected. Senator Hoven, once again, you did it.
Well, the Corps did it.
So when we looked at this project initially I'll go to the diversion first, I'll wear that hat first, is we went and looked at them and worked with them. And Senator Hoven and I sat down, and normally a Corps project takes 18 years. And we said, can we do it quicker? And we felt that we could get some cost savings with a 6-year build. So we went to the general and said, hey, how about a 6-year build? And it took just 24 hours, and Senator Hoven, arm twisting him, the next day came in and said, okay, let's do it in 6 years. So when we did it in 6 years, we did a P3 project, and with the P3 project, what happens, we said if the P3 project's done in 6 years, the Corps better be done in 6 years. And we tried, the team convinced the Corps that if they worked at this vigorously, they perhaps could do it ahead of budget, which they have. And what we didn't expect is we got, at this point, at least $100 to $120 million in savings. And our team went after it and said, okay, when can we get this, Senator Hoven? He said, 31, 32. Tim, don't, be patient. And last year, Tony Grinberg said, well, let's scratch a few heads and talk a little bit and see if we can get it sooner. And whenever you go into Senator Hoven's office, just like when Tammy explained something to him, once he gets it, he goes after it. So we said, hey, how about a little bit of advanced funding? That would really help us out. So we went back to the drawing board, and I had heard when I came in as chair January 1st that I might be looking at this 120 next year. So he always gives me surprises, like it's not even the end of January, and hey, Tim, I got either 100 or 120 million, and to me, does it make a difference? No, it's 100 or 120 million is a lot of money for us. So that has made a substantial difference in the diversion project, and we hope in October to be substantially done. We hope to have a great ceremony that time when we go through that, and this really helps out. What the taxpayers have to understand is any federal money we get helps to offset the sales tax commitment the city has that goes to 84. So to 2084 is where that goes, but every time Senator Hoven and the feds give us a little more money, it shaves that back and shaves that back, so then our taxpayers will pay less sales tax over time. And that's really what we love to have. Everybody likes to hear how we drive sales tax down or sales tax drivers down. So number one, thank you. You're far ahead of the schedule. I'm very pleased about this, and I know there might be a little more money, so can I ask you to try to get it by the end of the year or something like that?
You're a good advocate for Fargo, my friend.
Second thing is, my hat is LAWA chairman, and Boshinsky is my vice chair, and we've been talking about this. How do we make this work, and what do we do to help this out? And the state's committed. Reese, thank you very much. State's very much committed to this project, and we're trying to drive the cost and try to figure it out. And we said, you know, with the diversion, what we did is a three-person stool. We had the state, we had the feds, and we had the locals. And that really worked well. That helped drive everybody's costs down. And Mayor Boshinsky and I talked about this and said, you know, if we get the feds involved, maybe that'll help drive the local users, the small users down, their costs down. Because if the feds come in, that'll drive the state down, and that will drive the local share down. And lo and behold, I just asked for $454 million, and I kind of was wondering when that had come about. And all of a sudden he calls, he says, I got two surprises for you. I got money for the diversion, and I got your first tranche out of the NWAS project. I got $50 million. So it's like, holy cow, this is Christmas late, but it's really great that it came. And this $50 million will very much help us, because what people have to understand is that NWAS, that pump, that filter, everything we're building in that, feds are going to pay for all the orange part. And that orange part then is going to be our pumps, our stations, and pump it across the state. And that is just so helpful to us. But what the state legislators will like, it's going to drive their costs down. So they will not have to pay as much money into it, and it'll drive our local users' costs down. So this is a double whammy for two parties is that will very much benefit that. So I think, one, we should give a round of applause to Senator Hoven for all this hard work that he's done.
Uh-oh.
And Senator Hoven, we got to give you some kind of prize.
It can't be a vest now, because with the flood protection, we won't have floods, so we won't need the vest. So it can't be a vest.
And Capitan gave you a challenge coin. I don't have that to give you today. But John Offit is a local artist of ours, and I could think of nothing nicer to give you than something in blue, because that signifies water. And I know you got that big buffalo in the Senate up there and stuff like that. But maybe you could put this on your desk and always be thinking of us and put flowers in it every day or something like that. But this is a local glass artist that I thought you would enjoy.
Wow, that's nice.
So you can put
I'm
the
going
coin
to
in
put the Capitan's coin in there. Thank you, Mayor.
You're very welcome.
Blue represents water, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to know. That's good. Thank you. Okay, Dwayne, why don't you go next, and then if Jason's got something that we missed, then we'll get him. But 55 years, right?
Long time. Yeah. Well, we want to express our gratitude to Senator Hoven for his instrumental role in securing the $50 million for the NDOS, which will ultimately serve the Red River Valley and central North Dakota for a crucial water supply project that has the potential to serve 50% of the population in North Dakota. Additionally, the Senator's assistance in obtaining federal authorization to utilize the existing McCluskey Canal, as the Senator has already stated, will save us $200 million in capital costs, mostly in pipe. And then the cost for operating the system when it's finally done will save us $4 million in operating costs every year. That'll add up pretty fast. Yeah. And Senator Hoven's extensive efforts will make the Red River Valley water supply significantly more affordable for the end users, and which will benefit communities throughout North Dakota. With this funding in place, Garrison and Lake Agassiz will move forward using these assets to install approximately 7 to 9 miles of pipeline. Garrison Diversion appreciates the support of the entire North Dakota delegation and the Governor's Office and the Department of Water Resources for bringing success to this effort. I would there was a federal project, if you'll remember, and the federal government never came through. And during the Governor Hoven, that project became a state project through his vision. And so we wouldn't have this project today at all without then Governor Hoeven and now Senator Hoeven. And so today is really a big day with the $50 million. And it kind of completes a promise from the federal government that was never realized. And it's taken this many years, and Senator Hoeven did it. And with that, we just want to thank you again, and we'll continue to work with you extensively on this project.
Thanks, Dwayne. Appreciate it. Yeah. Dwayne was a member of our, when I was governor, he was in our North Dakota National Guard, and he was also in the legislature. And, you know, just somebody that's really dedicated, and now, of course, leads the Garrison Conservancy District. So somebody who's really dedicated a lot of his life to North Dakota. And it's nice to hear and remember, you know, how long we've worked on some of these things. And it really gives you some perspective. And appreciate you, and then getting somebody like as sharp as Tammy and your whole crew to really think about this and figure out how to make it work. It was a labyrinth. And without you, your crew, and Tammy, you know, that you guys figured out a good plan. And then it was tough. It's been tough to execute. But it starts with a great vision. So thanks to you guys in a big, big way. Okay, Jason, anything you got? And then we're going to get everybody up here and go through things in a little more detail.
All right, thank you, Senator. Again, really appreciate you and your team, all the effort. You know, over the years, your support for this project has been dynamic, and every year we end up getting some additional legislation that comes through because of your efforts, whether it's funding or our ability to build on former FEMA lots and some of those things that that aren't as exciting as funding, but were critical to this project. So thank you. You know, we've got great lawyers, just like Tammy on the water supply. John Shockley is our lawyer, and years ago when he wrote helped write the project partnership agreement with the Corps, we got that language put into the agreement that said if the Corps doesn't spend the full 750, that we'd be able to get access to that. So this is going to be a huge shot in the arm to be able to get access to those funds early. We still have some steps to move ahead now. We'll have to do an amendment to that partnership agreement with the Corps. We expect that to happen over the next couple months, and then we're looking to see that first payment of probably roughly $60 million by the end of this fiscal year, and then early into next fiscal year. So hopefully that October through December timeframe, first quarter of fiscal year 27, we should get that second tranche of money. So this is going to be really big for our project. And you know, when we look at 2026, we're in our final year of construction. This is a massive undertaking, and to be able to be in the last year of construction, that also means this spring is our last spring where we'll have to worry about fighting a flood without the diversion. So it's a huge accomplishment, a huge milestone, and knock on wood, Mother Nature holds with us through the spring, and then we'll be ready to have an operational project ready to fight the floods for 2027 beyond. So
Good.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks, Jason. All right, come on, let's jump up here and get everybody up here and kind of go through things. The other side, so the course track.
Ready, maybe we could go around, we've got a mix of Garrison and Diversion people, so if people would just introduce themselves and say which board you're on, please, that would help the senator figure out which tough questions to ask you. So, Tim Mahoney, Mayor Fargo.
Bernie Dardis, I'm on the Metro Flood Diversion Authority Board and the Lake Agassiz Water Authority, and I'm the mayor of West Fargo.
Oh, you guys wear two hats.
Good morning, I'm Reese Hawes. I am the Director of the North Dakota Department of Water Resources.
Brandon Bochensky, the mayor of the city of Grand Forks and on Lake Agassiz Water Authority.
Ken Vian with the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District and a member of the Grand Forks City Council.
Denise Kolpak, Fargo City Commission, and also a member of the Metro Flood Diversion Authority.
Thank you. I'm Dave Carlsrud, Valley City Mayor and Lake Agassiz Water Authority.
Kyle Blanchfield from Ramsey County in Devils Lake, North Dakota. I'm with the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District.
Kelly Klosterman, Richland County, Garrison Diversion.
Tammy Norgard, Vogel Law Firm, and I'm legal counsel for Garrison Diversion.
Jim Capitan, I'm a member of the Metropolitan Flood Diversion Authority and Cass County Commissioner and Commissioner on the Airport Authority Board.
I'm Keith Nilsson. I'm on the Lake Agassiz Board and represent Walsh Rural Water.
I'm Dwayne DeCray, General Manager of the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District.
Jason Benson, Executive Director for the FM Diversion Project.
Shelley Carlson, Moorhead Mayor, representing apparently the entire state of Minnesota, as well as Moorhead, and Vice Chair of the Metro Flood Diversion Authority, and share a wonderful hometown with the senator.
That's right. So thanks to all of you for being here, and more importantly for what you do. And it's amazing how many we have here that wear multiple hats, and so that's really great. And again, there's just a lot going on, but without your strong leadership, it wouldn't happen. I think this is a great opportunity to kind of go through where we're at. Obviously, celebrate what we've accomplished at this point, but recognizing there's a lot more to do here, talk about next steps. And so before we kind of go around, I do want to acknowledge that we've got Cassie Bowers here with Representative Fedorchuk's group. Cassie, where are you? There she is. Reed Kemp with Senator Kramer. Reed, yep.
Sitting up front.
And I want to thank you guys, and if you have anything to offer at any point, just come up or let us know. We appreciate, obviously, both Julie and Kevin very much, and anything you want to add to the mix, please don't be shy and do so. Also, Shannon Full wasn't able to be here, but as a chamber director and a chamber that represents Fargo and West Fargo and Moorhead, and am I leaving anyone else out of the chamber that she represents? Okay, I wouldn't want to leave. Anyway, seriously, representing all three communities, they really, in a way, serve as the glue that helps everybody work together. And so Cale Dunwoody's here. Cale, appreciate you. If you have anything to add, make sure you let us know. And then Tim Flacco, County Commissioner, was here. I guess he had to go, but always appreciate Tim and often refer to him as the Forbes Flash, because he and I share a little history from Forbes, North Dakota. Let's start out with the mayors and just kind of go through any things that, and start with you, Mayor Mahoney, because you also then represent or chair both Diversion Authority as well as LAWA. just kind of next steps as far as you're concerned and making sure that we're coordinating and doing what we need to do. Obviously, like I say, what we're focused on in our office right now as next step is working with Interior on this funding that we've made available for additional NDOS funding.
Yeah, we're kind of excited because we do know somebody in Interior, pretty well. So,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, that guy might help us out, that Burgum guy.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, you and I are just talking on the diversion side of it, is we are moving ahead in construction. It's really going well. And we're trying to figure out this bet we have about with the Corps going to get it done first, or is the P3 project going to get it done first? So I have a little advantage of the P3 guys are really working fast now because, the Corps embarrassed us by getting the Red River structure done so quickly and moving ahead so quickly. But they got a lot of bridges to do, so I'm kind of, hoping maybe, P3 can catch up now versus the Corps, but we'll kind of see that the southern embankment has some unstable soil. It might be a little difficult for the Corps to get done on time.
The Corps is pretty confident if you talk to
Their head guys, yeah.
leadership there.
But we're pleased that our legal team did figure this thing out, and we did write the right language in there to have that money, and it really helps on our financial model, as sales tax in our community is not as high or vigorous as we thought it might be at this point. So this is really a boost in the arm for that. And then on the LAWA side, we're really excited because we wanted some federal money to come in, weren't quite sure when that would happen, but it really helps us with the legislative side of it, because when we tell the legislators we've got some money coming, and we're going to continue to work with Interior to have more of that coming, but to even get the NWAS project starting to move, that is tremendously helpful to us. So can't say enough that this really is a double boost in the arm that really kind of gives us a boost to help us get over the top. And hopefully it will set us straight in a lot of different areas and help straighten out financial pictures and really help in a great way. So we very much appreciate that.
Good morning, Senator. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, if we said that enough. We've been working on the Garrison, or the Metro Flood Diversion Authority. I've got 15 years into it, and it was so appropriate that Dwayne DeCray mentioned that back when you were governor of the great state of North Dakota, the significance of what you did in setting that groundwork. The collaboration of the North Dakota legislature, your office, Senator Kramer's office, now Representative Fedorchik's office, is monumental. But there are other partners here that we need to thank, and certainly the Corps of Engineers is one of them. We've had, in my time, I think we've now had 4 different colonels that have been project managers out of Minneapolis, all exceptional leaders, all committed to this project and done a great job for us. And we're so very grateful for the Corps of Engineers as well. When we talk about partnerships, the North Dakota legislature and the Water Commission, as we used to know it, now Dakota Water Resource, we've been blessed with having an opportunity to work with them on these projects. But I want to acknowledge Reese's leadership in his role as the head of Dakota Water Resources has been significant. There is a new collaborative kind of a atmosphere, if you will, not to criticize anybody before him, but he gets it, and we're very grateful for that, Reese. I mean, it's really significant. So on behalf of the city of West Fargo, LAWA, and the FM Diversion Authority, we want to thank you again, Senator. We're looking to continue work together to keep North Dakota water supply where it's needed, out of our basements and into our water glasses.
Thank you, Senator Hoeven. It's truly an honor to be here today to recognize and not just thank Senator Hoeven, but also the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for their extraordinary partnership and leadership on the Fargo-Moorhead Flood Diversion Project. The project is truly one of a kind. It's very unique. It represents, as everyone has talked about, years, decades of planning, persistence, and collaboration across local, state, and federal levels, and will fundamentally change not just the future of Moorhead, but this entire region. As the chair of the FM Diversion Project in 2021, I had the privilege of working very closely with Senator Hoeven and Senator Klobuchar to secure the remaining $431 million in federal funding that was needed for this project. That moment was pivotal. It demonstrated what is possible when federal leaders understand federal needs, or local needs, and are willing to act decisively. And I remain deeply grateful for that partnership. For Moorhead residents, this project is more than just infrastructure. It's not just 19 miles of levees and flood walls, new lift stations, which we still need 7, and I'll be working on that, or a reduction of 2.85 million sandbags to probably 3,700 sandbags for a few little projects if and when the Red River decides to rear its head. What it means is peace of mind. It means that families do not have to live with the constant worry of spring flooding. It means that residents will be thrilled to know that they no longer need to be paying flood insurance, and that means money in their pockets. And just be able to sleep at night knowing that they don't ever have to worry about that Red River flooding, as Mayor Darter said, going into their basements. This project is proof that when we lead with partnership, accountability, and shared commitment, we deliver results that will benefit generations. So on behalf of the City of Moorhead, thank you, Senator Hoeven. Thank you to the Army Corps of Engineers. And thank you to everybody who has made this project a historic achievement. So appreciate it.
Thanks, Mayor Carlson, and it's really great you make this a two-state project, which is huge, and we absolutely appreciate it. Let's go to our, I guess, newest mayor for these gatherings, and one I'm really pleased to see join the gang, who does just a phenomenal job up there in Grand Forks. But Mayor Brzezinski, thanks for being here, thanks for your great leadership, and thanks for all you bring to this very important project.
Well, thank you. I didn't know until you said Grand Forks if you were talking about me or someone else, so
No, it was you.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Senator Hoeven. Once again, you've delivered not just for the state, but for Grand Forks. I just think of all the work we've done with the air base up in Grand Forks, the many times that you've come up there, the many times you've helped us out with value-added ag projects, and now this is just phenomenal, so thank you for that. Many of you know when it comes to the flood diversion, Grand Forks is no stranger to the Red River flooding, and I can promise you it's much more enjoyable to turn on pumps instead of having to pile up sandbags when those spring floods come, so I'm sure everyone around this area is certainly grateful for that. When it comes to the funding for the Red River Valley Water Supply Project and NDOS, Grand Forks is similar to a lot of the smaller users. We're going to fund this through our utility rates. So when you have an opportunity to go show your customers, your local users, here was the number. You get to cross that out and you get to put a new number that's much lower on their rates and said, Senator Hoeven got this done for you. I know they're going to be pretty excited. And when Lawwell goes out this year and we're continuing to bring more people into this project, and we'll be able to do the same thing. Here was your number, here's your number now, and here's where Senator Hoeven's going to get it to, and without a doubt, that's going to lead to more people being a part of this project and helped out in a positive way. So thank you for everything you've done. Couldn't be more appreciative. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and you're right. And, when you're bringing in projects like, the new potato processing plant, I mean, between, energy, natural gas, that kind of thing, and water, and reliable water, just vital. And, putting those elements all go together. And, that's going to be a tremendous project up there, and you're going to need the water. So, again, just great to have you on board, and your message is a really strong one there that not only resonates for Grand Forks, but for the region, for eastern North Dakota. I think Dwayne said more than 50% of the people are impacted by the eastern North Dakota alternate water supply project. So, Dwayne, let's go back to you and just talk about, next steps. And again, it's, I think, 20 communities and 15 water districts, so over 30 users already. And I think we're going to see that climb. And it's just, again, it's all about creating opportunity. But with flood protection and a reliable water supply, that really puts us in a great spot. And then with just all the attributes we have with our great university system, our great people, our great farmers, all these things, it is exciting. And so I guess, Dwayne, again, thanks for being here. Thanks for your kind of institutional memory of all the things that have had to occur on the journey here. But now talk a little bit from your perspective, next steps. And I really bring in you emphasizing the, and Brandon did too, the fact that with the gravity flow and all, now we can offer some better water rates. And with the state legislature stepping up, Reese is here to talk about that, all these things. Hopefully, people recognize this is a better, stronger project, and that'll help us get, more and more on board too. So what's next?
Well, we're going to keep constructing until it's completed, but you're absolutely right, Senator. Every bit of federal help that we can get on this project lowers the cost for the state of North Dakota and for the users, and which is, it's on the edge of affordability. If we had to do it by ourselves, we would, because it's needed that bad. But just the fact that you're bringing some federal dollars back to North Dakota, and I would add that, we gave up hundreds of thousands of acres of prime river bottom land to put Lake Sakakawea on, and we were promised water supply and a lot of other things. And we got the flood control and we got the wildlife benefits, but we never have realized the water supply from the product. And so as I mentioned earlier, through your vision, the state project that absolutely came to a dead end and was not going to happen, your vision as governor at that time, you told Garrison to come up with a state plan, and so we worked on that, and with a little bit of luck, we put a legal plan together, and with Tammy working with the Bernhardt Group, who, by the way, became Secretary of the Interior after he worked for us, and so that was a stroke of good luck. And so once you got to Washington, D.C., the stars kind of started to align, and so now we've got 30 miles of pipe into the ground. We've got 90 miles of pipe that's already engineered, that's ready, shovel ready, and we're getting close to, I think we're around 50-60% on the water treatment plant, and so it's just a matter of how fast you want to finish it up and how many dollars we can get.
Well, I think we're in a good place now to keep you moving aggressively on the construction. I have to ask, though, because I drive by it all the time, when I drive from Bismarck up to Minot to see some of my grandkids, the ones that aren't in Bismarck, I drive by the Snake Creek pumping plant, and then I drive by the water treatment, the Biota water treatment facility, which is right there in Max. And when I was governor in 2002, Gail Norton, Secretary, you mentioned we know the current Secretary, Doug Burgum, very well. Well, we knew Gail Norton, Secretary under George Bush, W., and know her real well, too. And she signed a record, a FONSI, a finding of no significant impact, a record of decision for NAWS, Northwest Area Water System, which is Minot Air Force Base and that whole northwest area, up Botno and everywhere else. And then we were sued by Canada and Audubon and that whole bunch. And so we have to treat the water that we take out of Lake Sakakawea in order to take it up to Minot to run it through a treatment plant, go figure, to disperse to the people of not just the Minot area, but that whole northwest area, everywhere else, Base and Botno, all that whole area, okay? So think about it. They forced us to treat the water to put into a pipe that runs up to a treatment plant. Now, do the math there. But the dang thing's been sitting there done for a while. When are we going to go turn that baby on? What's going on? What are we waiting for?
Yeah, of course, NAWS isn't our project, but I know they've had some engineering difficulties that are being corrected now, but I think they intend to deliver water this year.
Okay,
So,
good. Needless to say, I drive by there every time and look at a completed plant. We're ready to go. Let's go.
the bad news for North Dakota was NAWS was tied up in court, I think, for about 16 years.
I know.
But
That's why we
the
had
good
to build
news
the
for
plant.
North Dakota is that set all the legal precedents that we needed for the Red River Valley water supply.
Well, that's good.
So why we've been able to move faster once we started the project.
Well, I think they're waiting for some equipment at they had to change the outlets for the fish at the state Snake Creek pumping plant. And I think they had to get those outlets from somewhere else, and so there was a long lead time. But I'm hopeful they're going to flip the switch this year. The good thing, though, is we continue to build out NAS while we were going through that litigation. So it's exciting to see these, and Southwest, as you know, from the Water Commission days, the Southwest project has been a huge success, thank gosh, because of all the oil development. They needed it badly, and we're actually working on, with the legislators, to expand that one. So there's Southwest, and then we've got Western, then you got NAS, and now the toughest one to land, of course, has been Eastern.
And we did get sued too. Missouri always sues us for depletion.
Yeah.
Taking 165 cubic feet per second out of a river that's lowest point was 13,000
Yeah,
cubic feet
I mean,
per second.
it's a pittance what we get out compared to the flow. I mean, it's a lot for us, but the Missouri River is a huge river. So that's that, yeah, we have to, obviously have had to fight that battle, and it's not fair them holding us up, but, because we're entitled to the water. Not only are we entitled to it for what we're using, it's a very reasonable amount. Okay, now, let's see, we're gonna go, I guess, Jason, let's kind of touch anything that we didn't cover on the,
Yeah, thanks, Senator.
yeah, on the protection side, because then I really want to get into, where the users talk about the NDOS part, and maybe in a little more detail.
All right, thanks, Senator. Yeah, again, really appreciate your efforts to get this bill passed and the work with you and your team to work your magic. I don't know what you do up there, but it's always exceptional to be able to push legislation like this through. The funding's extremely important to reducing our costs to local taxpayers. Your support on this project has been critical, really from your first days as you went from being the governor to being senator and all the way through your time in the Senate. So it's been huge. And, for us, being in our last year of construction is really big. When we look at, we've got the Mayor Grand Forks down, what the cost of that project to rebuild Grand Forks after the 97 flood, $3.5 billion, nearly $6.4 billion in today's dollars if you escalate for inflation. So knowing that we're putting our money in ahead so that we're not having to rebuild our community is really big. I do want to just hit on a couple of key points, when what we accomplished in 2025 and where we're going in 2026. So we're over 80% complete with the project as we head into 2026. We look at the amount of dirt that we're moving between the diversion channel and the southern embankment. It's about the equivalent of taking a square mile and digging a hole 60 feet deep, and then taking that dirt and flipping it onto the square mile next to it and putting a pile 60 feet deep. So it's just a massive undertaking. When you look at the concrete, asphalt, riprap that we've placed, again, massive. It's enough to fill the North Dakota Capitol 3 times. The piling, all the steel bridge piling and sheet piling, if you laid it end to end, would stretch more than 42 miles. Those are just a couple of the examples of the incredible amount of construction completed in 2025. And, as we look towards what this protects, the 260,000 residents of our community, Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead, it's really tremendous. In 2025, we saw 14 bridges open to traffic, and we made significant progress on the Cheyenne and Maple River aqueducts. And we witnessed the Red River rerouting through the Red River control structure, and it was a pleasure to have you out at that event. Those are just a few of our key milestones for 2025. As we move into 2026, as I mentioned in my earlier comments, we are on our last year of full major construction, and we'll be ready to operate if necessary for a spring flood of 2027. It's important that, as I mentioned earlier too, knowing that this is our last spring where we'll have without flood protection, and from, after 2026, we'll always have permanent, reliable flood protection that will protect our community and take that burden and just that sense of relief that every spring, no matter where the floodwaters go, we've got permanent protection. So thank you, Senator.
Is it going to be kind of weird, Mayor, to, not have to don your yellow vest, and go out there and, lead the sandbagging effort?
And do kids even know how to make sandbags right now? They used to, that was part of elementary school, and now it's gone.
Do you have an alternate exercise routine to keep yourself buff now
Yeah.
that you're not going to be throwing sandbags?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go over to Moorhead and do their new walking track.
Anytime.
Let me check, because then we're going to go over to Reese next, but on the diversion side, before we flip to the end side, the water user side, anything else that we want to touch on the flood protection side? Did we kind of squared away there?
I think we're good there, yeah.
Okay, well then, let's go to Rice and the Water Commission and talk a little bit about the state participation in this very important effort.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. The timing of this announcement could not have been better. We really do appreciate it. The state of North Dakota has already invested over $400 million of our state taxpayer dollars into at least the Red River Valley Water Supply Project to date. And of course, we're very strongly committed to seeing this project through. I also need to acknowledge the local communities as well. We have the mayors of Grand Forks, Fargo, West Fargo, Valley City. They're all providing tens of millions of their own taxpayer dollars as well for the local match. And it really shows their local commitment as well to seeing this project get across the finish line. Any investment in water infrastructure in North Dakota really is an investment in our future. It's an investment of resilience. It's an investment in our ag economy, and really is a generational investment that will pay off dividends for future North Dakotans as well. So we really do appreciate that. And Senator, you brought up NAS, so I just want to invite you, if you haven't already been, we would love to host you at the new NAS Biowater Treatment Plant and give a tour. It is the Ferrari of water treatment plants, and we expect that water will be moving through the system by the end of 2026.
I fought against, that was $100 million that I never thought we should have to spend. And by God, because of the legal, held up legally, we of course had to. But yeah, it's completed now, that's good, and I'd love to come up and see it. And I am serious, I want to get that, get it online. Again, it has not held us up on the build-out of NAS, but it's time, and that's a 20-year milestone, right? It's not 55-year milestone like today, Dwayne, but it's a 20-year milestone, which isn't bad. So thanks for the great support that the state's putting in. You guys are doing a tremendous job, and I think touching all the bases. Okay, let's go to the water users. Mayor, who should we start? Since you're the head of LAWA, or Lake Agassiz water users, where should we start on the water user side?
Well, our old referee here, Mayor Carlsrud.
I know, he still looks like a referee.
Doesn't he? Don't you kind of want to not do the...
I mean, he does. He's like prototypical. Never made a bad call in any game either.
How do you follow that? Thank you. But
His favorite line when he was refereeing, is the player would come over and said, I can't believe you made that call. And he'd always say, believe it.
actually, I had people pray for me. You make a call and they say, Jesus Christ, ref, But anyway, going back to Pick Sloan and the promise of water for North Dakota. And contrary to what Dwayne might say, I was not working construction on the Garrison Dam. So, it was before me. But anyway, thank you for carrying that torch and helping us get to where we are. We in Valley City believe this is a beautiful project, a necessary project, and we support it. We are contemplating whether or not we can afford it at this point. We haven't been able to reach the point where we can say, yes, we can go. So every dollar you can bring gives us and other small users a better chance of participating fully. And Keith is down there, and others might be right here, but our leadership for for the project has been great, and they're all sitting by you. So thanks, everybody, and let her go.
Well, you're in a key place there because the water's coming over Lake Ashtabula there, and you're right there. So we're counting on you to keep an eye on things.
Yeah, try to sell that to some of the conservatives in Valley City that we can't take the water if we haven't bought it, you know. We can take that anytime we want. No, no, you can't.
Exactly right. I guess, Keith, what do you want to add?
I'd like to add a thank you from rural water too and from LAWA for all your good work in securing those funds. And I think it was 2 or 3 years ago you were here and asked us to testify. You had the Deputy Secretary of Interior here. And I remember Mayor Dardis, he went ahead of me. And I just thought it's such a unique project because they're looking for the water and we're looking for water, but the affordability, because in Fargo, Moorhead, Grand Forks, they don't have a problem with population. In rural, we struggle to keep enough people there and to keep it affordable. And I know we've had that conversation before. I just want to thank you for all your hard work going forward too.
Well, I remember, and it certainly impressed me, and I think it impressed the Secretary too, is that, you know, the water districts and smaller communities wanted to join. The question is whether it was going to be affordable.
And
I
this,
remember that very clearly. Yeah.
this really helps.
Yeah, no, you guys made a very important and very good point and did that very well.
Keith, you didn't bring any potatoes for him. I thought you'd bring, he's going to do part of those potatoes in Grand Forks.
That's
Yeah.
a good project, huh? That's exciting.
It is, we might have to have a conversation afterwards about it.
He had to go over to Europe just to see how they do it. Apparently, they do
Was there
potatoes
more-
different in Europe than they do in North Dakota.
I know, well, I used to live in the Chicagoland area, and they were gonna, you know, we were competing against Wisconsin, and they were gonna truck those things in the Chicagoland area. Well, I said, get a clue. I mean, I get it, you guys are from Belgium, but you better come on over here. I mean, people go a long way to stay out of that Chicago metro. Your potatoes are gonna like rot on the truck as fast things, as slow as things move over there. So anyway, that was one of their plans. So they also had a little bit of a, and then of course, when it really came down to it, Bushinsky got him in the corner and gave him a couple checks. And I mean, the hockey checks.
He needs to get him in the
And
corner
that
again.
was
Tariffs are really bothering us for that project. They really are. So,
Yeah, well, we'll get that ironed out, I hope.
okay.
Yeah, we'll talk some more.
Perfect.
There's a
Thank you
message
so
I need
much.
to
But
carry
just
back.
thank
I
you
will.
for all your good work for water. I mean, for all the years, not just this project, but all our rural systems, and you've always had our back.
Well, you talk about wearing a lot of hats. Look at this. Okay, so look at our potato project. You wear a hat, you know, on the grower side and all that, as well as on the water side. I mean, it really is amazing how folks get involved in these things, and it takes that whole network. And you're still working on it, which is good. So.
We'll be here a few more years.
No, that's great.
Don't you quit either.
No, well, thanks. Okay, who should we go to next, Mayor, on the water user side?
Most of them are working today, Senator, so that's why they're not all here. Keith just got a day off because the kids let him have it, but most of them are working.
Oh, that's
today.
good. So have we, but then let's just go around the table. Who, Mon Capitan?
The only thing that I can say about is the fact that you put me out of a job. After I retired with the city of Fargo, I was the independent contractor for the state of North Dakota as the state public assistance coordinator for floods. I did that for 16 years. Now that we don't have any floods, I'm out of a job there too. Thank you.
Well, that's why we got you involved in all these other things.
There you go.
Kelly?
Senator, thanks. I think the biggest thing is we need to work together on this pipeline and get her built. Get her done. Get that pipe full of water and let's see what it looks like coming out the other end.
What do we think is realistic? You or Dwayne, what do we realistically think?
Well, the legislature put us on a 10-year build, which would be a 2032 finish. We didn't receive quite our ask last session, but I think we're still on a 10-year build. This, you know, the 50 million is certainly going to help, and we are right on or a little under budget, and so It's all good news right now.
Yeah, full speed ahead. Well, let's see, we can't beat that timeline. What do you say? What do you think, Kelly? Should we see we can beat that? You and I ain't getting any younger, you know.
If you get us some money, I think we can beat it.
By the time that mustache gets down to the bottom of your chin, we want to have the damn thing
I'll
go.
be ready.
Yeah. Tammy?
You know, I'll just recognize that, you know, we've talked about how this has been on hold for a long time in the 70s and it's taken so long. And the reason for that is because the federal government did not have the will to take on groups that were objecting. And NEPA created a big obstacle when it comes to litigation, like it did with the 16 years of litigation with NAS. And I credit you and the federal government and having the initiative to push that forward and to say, you know what, we need this and we're going to move forward and we're not going to fear NEPA. Yes, we got sued. We won. We got sued by Missouri. We won. They went to the Eighth Circuit. We won again. And so it just goes to show that when you've got that will behind you, and you were one of the leaders of that, and David Bernhardt, and now with our current Secretary of Interior and Undersecretary, Andrea Travnik, Deputy Secretary of Interior, we have great people in place to keep this momentum going. And I think that that's really a big part of this shift is it wasn't the fear of, oh gosh, we're going to get sued. It's more that, you know what, we're going to win. If they sue us, we're going to win and we can push through it. And so I think that that's where you get a lot of credit for just keeping on, pushing forward on that and not letting that distract you. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And Andrew's another great one. She worked for me in the governor's office back in the day, and she's got a great institutional memory of how this works and everything, and is obviously just an all-star. But again, kudos to you for executing that legal strategy. You know, it just not only executing it, but formulating something that could work, and then being able to deliver on it. So it really fantastic to, obviously to the whole crew and, you know, Dwayne's entire crew, but really, you know, you were the tip of the spear. And so, thanks, and pretty impressive work, I must say. Kyle?
Well, thank you, Governor, thank you, Senator.
Ramsey County, I was up there yesterday. That was fun.
Thanks for coming back, and thank you for the help with the
Old
hospital.
Ricker, I thought, I mean, he's about froze to death.
Yeah.
Hope he made it back to Phoenix okay, but.
Well, thank you for that as well, as far as flood control and getting water out of Devil's Lake. And also to the mayor of Fargo, we did not charge you a dime for all that nice water, so we have been keeping track of it for later uses. But
He was good, because some of those guys were making noise like about biota and all that. So
Yeah.
fortunately, Mahoney wasn't one of them.
That worked out great, and I'm new on the board, and honestly, when I first got on, between the diversion and the Red River water supply project, it's like drinking water out of a fire hose, literally. I mean, it's a lot of information. It's amazing the work you guys have all accomplished. I came in kind of late in the game as a director, and I'm just a guy on the table just learning. My first meeting, I think one of the first things that came up was like a $35 million project that we all had to vote on, and I'm used to being on a board that we, you know, fight over a $200 expenditure for the park board or something, right? So, yeah, it was an eye-opener, but it's an amazing project. I am so thankful to be part of it and look forward to its completion, and thank you all for, everyone that's here for the dedication, the hard work, effort, and brain power put into this project. It's amazing, and I'm super thankful to be part of it. Thank you.
I appreciate having you here, and you know, Lake Region up there is going to be a good part of our initiative on rural health care now. So we're excited about that, and of course, special session this week, but we're looking for big things there.
Yeah, the changes we've had in our community are going to be life-changing and life-saving, and appreciate the effort you put into that as well.
It's a good community.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you got to be proud of them.
Thank you, sir.
Just
Yeah,
really
I sure am. You
Very
bet.
impressive.
Thank you.
Okay, we're swinging down this way. Ken, we're so darn glad you talked to the mayor, and I know you had to get him down on the ground and twist his arm to get on, and now he's the vice chairman, thanks to all your good work.
Well, thank you, and thank you for all your good work. You know, we've been talking about this project. I got started involved in this project in probably 1995, and since your time in the state and federal government, I don't remember a time we haven't talked about Red River Valley water supply that you weren't involved. And, you know, you go back to some of the earlier days when we had to go to the Bureau just to get the money to keep doing the studying and all of the process that just got us to date. It's been a journey, and having you being a partner with all of us, as we've been doing on the state, local, and federal level, has been simply amazing. But keeping our eye on that major outcome, which we needed to do to get this project. And actually having it under construction now, and this announcement of the savings has just been instrumental, and it will continue to be as we move forward. So I just want to say thank you for that, being in Grand Forks, you know, all along the Red River. You know, it's kind of unique today. We're talking about the Red River, Red River of the North, both having too much flood control and not enough, needing additional water supply. And those two things can happen in the same year as it did in 2012. So we're very unique, and I think the outcomes that we're looking for and how you've helped us has been monumental. Thank you.
Yeah, it is ironic, but they really, truly do go together, you know. Particularly when you have a river that flows north into what hasn't melted yet. You know, it's a recipe for flooding. Yeah, thanks for your long participation in this process. And you're right, there are a lot of times where it was like, are we ever gonna, you know, get this moving, right?
Right.
Denise?
Senator, thank you so much. I feel like I've come full circle here. You were at the inaugural event of the North Dakota Water Coalition when we kicked it off, if you remember that. I was executive director of that, and when I think about all
You were in your teens, weren't you?
Sure. I wish. But threw me for a loop there, Senator. But when I think about the obstacles that have been overcome, I mean, we talked about biota transfer, some of the legal issues, piping plover, lease turn. There were a number of issues that have been overcome over the decades of work. And I think when you look around this table and you see the commitment and leadership across North Dakota, it's one of the examples of why our state works, and why it's an honor to serve, and thank you for everything.
Thanks for all your long-standing work in a variety of capacities.
Yeah.
As well as keeping an eye on Mahoney. We know how important that is. I know between you and Bernie, he's, you know.
Mostly Bernie.
Anything else for the good of the order that we didn't touch on, guys, as far as?
Senator, I think you should be aware that any time that Mayor Mahoney gives you a receptacle with a big open top, he's expecting cash in there.
No, you said it's like blue because that represents water.
Water's money, so there's money. It can hold green.
All right. Anything else? Or from either Kevin or Julie's perspective, anything you guys want to bring up? We good? All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks for the good work, and we'll meet again. All right.